to another edition of your Wednesday night sports delight, the platform sports talk show.
Question is, did she subscribe?
Right.
She's down on YouTube.
Representing from the Boondocks. What up, Jobo?
Hello, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
What up? She repping her Hey Sister Soldier look right now. Everybody give it up for Bunny. What's happening, Bunny?
What up? Happy hump day.
T-Bone, what's going on, brother?
I'm back, and I don't know about better than ever, but I'm back.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night sports delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I think that may be on a highlight reel tape. And we're glad that you are tuning in live along with the millions
And millions
of the platform sports talk show fans on once again your Wednesday night sports delight.
Really?
Or
Brinks truck backing up in his driveway with
There you go.
97 million. There you go.
all you hear is this.
with somebody who's doing something to give back and letting the next generation.
Say
Don't
straight.
have me syrup on here.
Come on now, don't have me tear up. You know I get emotional.
But people watching around the world, no pressure. And we already have our favorite fan, Miss Williams, saying welcome, Brandon.
Well, how are you? Hi, Ms. Williams.
A guy who tried to give it his all and put on for the city, to be truthful, because like I said, I'm St. Louis die hard.
The views of Smooth does not reflect the Platform Sports Talk Show or its sponsors.
All right, everyone. I do humbly apologize. That was an issue that I have never had in the 7 years of doing the Platform Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight. Once again, I apologize for the delay, but this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Tonight is the main show, the very last main show of 2024. And we already started out with the bang. And not in those ways, because technology wouldn't allow us to be great, but we are here. And once again, I do apologize for the delay. As y'all saw on the screen, we everywhere on social media, also on Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot. You can go on to Hot 365 Radio by the app, or you can go on iOS or Android on the Play Store. Just put in Hot 365 Radio and you are good to go. Also, because Smoooth Productions hold things down, scan the QR code on the top right of your screen right now. Get your phones and scan the QR code on the top right and follow everything about Smoooth Productions, from the Platform Sports Talk Show to we have Ladies Night every first Wednesday of the month, the Man Cave every last Wednesday of the month. And now outside of sports, I have Smooth Conversations, been doing that for a few months now. It's been an incredible show, getting people's life stories told, from guys like Guy Torrey to someone who's been on the show before, who'll be back on in the 8 o'clock hour. It's an amazing show. So go on Smooth Conversations on YouTube, 3 O's in Smooth, and there you go. And next Wednesday, we have the Super Show, where the Man Cave and the Ladies Night panel will come together and end out the year with an amazing show, giving the best of 2024. So once again, I do apologize for the issues. Don't know what happened. Someone did not want us to be great, because we know we try to go viral tonight, y'all, with a very special show, and it's going to still go down. It's going to make things happen. So with that being said, these two guests, truthfully, they're not really guests, because they have both been on the show multiple times. And as of last Friday, I mean, I'm pretty sure you all are aware of this moment right here.
Bring it to him. Bring it to him.
We have Class 4 MSH SAA state champions from Lutheran North Crusaders. Coach Kyle Wagner, assistant coach Damion Mitchell. Fellas, thanks for y'all patience. How are y'all doing this evening?
Man, thank you for having us on the show, man. I'm excited.
Man, most definitely. They're here, y'all. They're here. So if you're on Instagram right now watching, you need to leave comments on either Facebook, on the X, or on YouTube, and we'll see them. Everyone else, have fun. Let's shower these people with great comments and show them love throughout the whole show. And your comments will be on the screen just like that. So Miss Dub, shouts out to you, our favorite fan, been holding things down since day one. Leave comments, show these guys some love. If you have questions, comments, any fun stories, I got y'all. So just leave a comment and let's have fun. But once again, congratulations. I know these last few days have been a whirlwind, but I do want to personally thank you. First, I'll talk with you, Coach, because you've been on the show 4 years ago.
Yep.
After you got hired.
Yep.
And I thank you for allowing the platform Sports Talk Show to have a good relationship with you.
Absolutely.
And you share your story from the moment that you first started off as the head coach to this moment. So who would have thought that this moment here, you know what I'm saying, from this point right here in 2019, Carl Reed, you was assistant coach at that time,
Yes, sir.
to now this moment right here.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So just talk about from 2019 and how it felt as an assistant coach to what happened last Friday.
Oh man. As an assistant coach, man, you just trying to make sure that you do your part. You really don't deal with the craziest parts of the program. You get to show up and do the fun parts. I definitely would say that winning as a head coach feels it's another level.
Yeah.
It's a vision that you have, and then you go through the heartbreak. You go through, your coaches going through things. You get to know everybody in the program, and more than anything, you get to that moment, man, and you just want to win for, all of the kids that are there and the kids that maybe didn't get to be a part of it, and some of the people that jumped ship that didn't get to, didn't get to be a part of it. So just a great combination, and it speaks to the work that my staff and my coaches put in, and man, we grew boys into men within 4 years, and we plan to keep it rolling.
Most definitely. And last Friday, just full transparency, y'all. Last Friday, I was doing some work around the house, and I had the game on live on the radio. My wife, she was working and everything, and I'm like, babe, I'm about to play the game. I'm about to listen to the game on everything on the radio. First quarter, like within 5 minutes of the game, touchdown. I'm like, babe, it's 7-0. Then turn around like 10 minutes later, babe, it's like 14, 15-0. I'm like, I think they got this already in the bag. So it was like half an hour later, it's like 30-something. I'm like, okay, they making a statement. So as a head coach, tell everyone the moment that you realized probably in the first half that you had this game in the bag, and the emotion that you had to probably maybe hold off on until the end of the game.
Yeah, I kind of knew when we first came out and really getting ready for the game. I knew our seniors, man, it was one way for this group to go out. There was no other way that they were going to go out other than winning the state trophy. So when we went out on the field, man, their energy was incredible. I saw Festus come out, and our guys I mean, they ramped it up to another level. And so when we went in and I talked to them, I told them, I said, they're not ready, and today for us is a statement game because we not just playing to win the state championship. Like we plan to try to send a message that we the best team in the entire state. And, if it was up to us, they would have all the champions play each other. We would love that. Yeah. We love competition. So for us, we already knew going into the game, but when we got up, actually at halftime, I was upset because they scored. It was 38-7 and they shouldn't have scored in the first half. Mm-hmm. And so that's our standard. You talk to my team and my coaches, I was livid at halftime. We were up 38-7. I'm upset just because we trying to chase perfection. And we'll never get it, but that's what we chasing. And so second half, they came out and obviously they set on the ball a little bit. Our goal was to try to set the state record, but we didn't quite get there. Yeah. But we won the state championship. So I'm extremely proud of my players and coaches and the way they played that game.
Most definitely. And a cool moment that I wanted to show, and I want to get your point of view, but you win the championship, you're holding the trophy. After things may have sunk in, I saw this photo right here, and just talk about the feeling that you had to realize that your family was able to see you in this moment and know that your daddy, that their daddy is a champion. And he led the way, not off of someone else, you being the assistant, but you as yourself led the troops and got to this moment right here. So talk about that.
I mean, that's why we do it. And really, we sacrifice so much time with our families when we doing this thing, man. And we really spend more time with other people's kids than we do our own. So for my kids to get to be a part of that and just see that, your dad is a champion. Now, everything that they do, they know that the Wagner expectation, is to be champions. And so for me, it's great to get that to them as a guy that didn't have his father. I didn't have that moment. Mm-hmm. And so for me, everything that I do now, I'm creating new moments. I'm the first to go and do everything. My family's still in the hood, and a lot of people don't know that about me because I went to Kirkwood, part of the DSEG program. The way I speak, I carry myself a certain way. I don't go out and kick it. I don't do none of that. But like my family is really from that. And so to have that moment and my kids, they'll never see what that even look like. Man, I love it. That's what we do it for. So my son, man, he know what the expectation is. When he do something, you better be the best. Mm-hmm. My daughters, they get to see it. You better be the best. Or you better get married to somebody that's the best. Don't bring no losers in my house.
Right.
So incredible moment, man. I love the fact that they get to see it. And last year when we lost, they were upset with me. They said, so we don't get no state championship trophy. I told them no. So they said, oh, we losers. So that was something that stood with me. I told my coaches about that. So they can't say that no more.
Was there a moment throughout the season that maybe there was a game that happened that you was like, this may be the year that we get over that hump?
Yeah, we won. We won.
And I had a feeling you're going to say that.
Yeah, we won. We went down to Alabama. We played top 20 team in the country, Central Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Their coach, Patrick Nix, Bo Nix is his son.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So we get down there, man. First off, it takes 3 buses for us to get there.
Wow.
Okay. We were supposed to leave at 6 a.m. We left at 6 p.m. So we get down there, we get 2.5 hours of sleep, and the kids got to get up, and we going to play against a team that got 160 some kids on the roster. We pull up, we look at the banner, they got 49 seniors. We took 39 kids with us. Okay. We look up, it's the fourth quarter, it's 14-12. Everybody in the stadium shocked, including us. When you look across, you're like, man, and we don't know if this is it,
Yeah.
But it's 14-12, and we done missed 2 of them with 2 touchdowns wide open that we should have had, so we should be winning. They end up pulling away late in the game, but after the game, their coaches came to us and they just said, man, this is the toughest team that we've played in the last 2 years. And they had played IMG. He said, it's the most physical game my kids ever been a part of. He said, if I could give you 60 kids and take 40 of yours, man, I'd do it in a minute. He said, lose my number. We'll never play you again. And so after that, our kids were upset in the locker. I mean, like crying. They really believed that they was going to win that game. So When we saying that, we said, oh man, ain't no way nobody in Missouri gonna be able to deal with this team. Nobody in Missouri be able to deal with this team. And so the following week we come and we give Blair Oaks, who ended up winning the Class 3 state championship. We beat them by 30 points. Had 21 penalties in the game. All right. So at that point, we already knew, what it was. And then it was just about us fighting all of the outside noise.
Right.
People telling kids how great they are when they have success. And the people that's, telling them maybe that they're not that great when they get ready to play somebody that other people think are great. So just keeping them even keel. I think I did a great job of just keeping a pulse on this team. And then we had the situation where I ended up getting suspended, and that piece really added fuel to the fire. If you know me, man, anytime something like that happened where I feel like I got, mistreated or undermined, or you challenging what I do, man, that's the worst thing you can do with me. In the end, I guarantee I win. And
when you got suspended, I want to get at you then.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, maybe it might not be the right time. Maybe the school will say fall back, whatever. But I didn't do it. But what was their reaction from your kids when they found out you got suspended?
Oh, they were playing for me. They were playing for me because they know the details of exactly what happened and how it went down. And really, I talk about carrying the cross. And in that situation, I was challenged by God to stand on that for my kids.
Right.
Because our season could have ended if I decided to fight it and uphold my name. And I just knew I sat and I prayed and literally got down to the final hour of me making a decision on how I was going to handle the next step. And man, God just told me, he said, man, do this. Your name I'm gonna put you at the table in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And so I took it and I let everybody say what they wanted to say and do what they wanted to do. And I knew in the end, he was gonna put everybody that hated, everybody that had issues, you're gonna have to sit at the table and watch us eat. And so I talked to my kids. I tell them the truth about everything. So I told them exactly what was going down, told them who did what. And so they stood with me. And the same thing with my parents. So it really added fuel to our fire, and it helped us more than anything. I hired these coaches, man. A lot of these guys didn't even have experience before, but I got a gift to see something in people, man. And so as soon as it went down, I said, this who gonna be the OC. This who the head coach is. My OC came in. He had never called plays before in a varsity game. He averaged over 49 points a game during the time he was gone. He scored 50 against Cardinal Ritter. That's the dude. He was coaching in his third game at the varsity level.
That's crazy.
And that's a guy who he grew up, around me since I was 14 years old. So man, that situation really it added fuel, and I think it helped us more than anything.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped me with my message of carrying the cross, and the kids saw me do it in real time.
And also hashtag different breed.
Different breed. Yeah.
So Coach Mitch, man, we know each other since high school. You and I went to the V. Shouts out to the V.
That's how we love, baby.
With that being said, of course, the reports are that the V may be closing in the next couple of years. So when you heard about that, what were your initial thoughts?
Man, I was saddened to hear it. The tradition of Vashon High School, man, is like second to none.
Right.
So when I heard it, I didn't want to believe it. I still don't believe it.
Right.
But if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But it seemed like the enrollment is steady going down over there. And, we're losing the football program this year. Basketball's still going on, though.
Of course.
You know that.
Of course, right.
I think they undefeated right now. But, yeah, man, it's going to be sad, man, if we get that.
Now, once again, I see Coach Wagner been on the show about 4 years ago. Damion, you was on probably about maybe 5-6 years ago doing one of the first years of the show. And at that time, I believe you was at Rittner, in which you was there as well.
Yeah.
So our conversations have always been great. But even behind that, you're the cousin of my best friend, Jonathan. So, we're pretty much like fam, you know what I'm saying, for real. But I just want to ask you personally, man to man, because you've been through your battles. For those who didn't see recently the Jamie Foxx special on Netflix, man, don't think about it as a stand-up or just trying to laugh. This man shared a story, a testimony. And having you on here tonight is the perfect opportunity. It all worked out the way that it should have. How are you doing, first off, health-wise?
Health-wise right now, probably about 90%. Probably about 90%. I'm 100% cancer-free right now, but I'm still going through a battle. You know, right now I only have like 30% motion in my right arm. So I'm still working. I went from 0 to 30. You know, so that's really, really good. So I'm still going to rehab and stuff like that to get my full range of motion back. I haven't worked in almost 2 years because my job, I need my arms, I drive and stuff like that.
Right.
So right now I'm about 90%, man. I passed all my, you know, my physical therapy stuff with my legs and stuff like that, learning how to walk again. And I'm just waiting on his arm to get right. His arm and his shoulder.
Well, man, brother, like I said, man, it's great to have you in person. The last time you was on the show, you were actually in your hospital room.
Yeah.
You know, going after treatments and everything, man. So I salute you. When I had the video up of you when Coach Wagner was on the show last time, I had showed the video of you ringing the bell, and, you know, he got instantly emotional. Talk about the support that you receive from not just your coaches, but the school and your players, and how much that meant to you.
Man, it mean a whole lot. From my family, everyone was there with me every night that I spent in the hospital. I spent 70 days in the hospital this year, and I had family members, coaches, when I was unconscious, on a ventilator, coaches and family and friends there with me. So the support been crazy. I was getting messages from the players. Coach D, we praying for you. Wish you was here. You know, I can't wait to see you. You know, you develop a relationship with those kids and they stick with them, especially if the person that they truly love not there. And from the coaching staff, man, I ride with this dude, man, whether he right or wrong. He been there since before I had cancer. He was there. You know what I mean? So he seen something in me where he hired me twice in 1 year. He hired me twice. He left Redner. I was still there. He got the job at Lutheran North. Guess where I went? He said, I need you, bro. And I was gone. I left a defensive coordinator job to come coach defensive backs at Lutheran North. So, man, this guy, man, I only deal with real people.
Yeah.
And it's one of the realest guys that I would ever know in my life. So,
Appreciate you.
yeah, man, you know, the support has been crazy from people that I know and people that I don't. The outside support been crazy. Because when you're a good person, man, not to toot my own horn, you're a good dude, man. People, you know, attract to good people.
Yeah.
So I didn't have no issues for support.
That's amazing, man. I do have another question. Have you woke up yet?
Hey, man. No, man, because, man, I've been coaching high school football for 6 years, but I've been coaching football for 16. A lot of coaches don't get this opportunity often. I know some coaches that have been coaching 30 years that never been to a state championship. But I'm one of the blessed ones that have made it after 6 years of coaching. So I'm still, you know, I'm still riding that high. You know, I look at the picture of the trophy every night, and I can't wait till we get these rings. I can't wait till, woo-wee! I can't wait till we get those. I probably won't take it off. Be in the shower with it on, in the pool. Hey, I'm telling you.
Be outside like, hey,
man,
what's happening?
Hey, man, hey, I'm just gonna be pointing like, hey, man, hey, for no reason. But yeah, man, I'm still excited, man. It's winning a state championship, man, is like the top of the line experience. Like leading up to the game, taking the bus ride out to Mizzou, the meetings, the food, like everything, man, was memorable. It was memorable.
And I know you said that it was your first time as a coach going to state. So I know just all the field just had to be amazing. I know it had to be amazing. So once again, congratulations for you both, man, on this accomplishment. And I saw this photo too. This was during the semifinal round And when y'all was at Kearney,
Yeah.
and it was snowing like crazy, cold as hell. And I saw this photo, and I'm like, this dude right here,
Hey.
cut off shirt.
Yeah, we got some badass.
I'm like, okay, so when coaches do this, because I see it in the NFL and in college, but how do the players receive when they see this or find out?
Well, our players set the tone. We got there early while they were cleaning off the field. And we actually went through our, pregame routine, and all the kids came out with their shirts off. So this team was different. In the past, man, our kids would be huddled around the heater, and we'd try to have to talk, we had to talk them up. Man, this team, they came out with their shirts off, and then we had a kid, you can't see him in this picture. One of our captains didn't get to play in this game, and he kept his shirt off for the whole game. He said, if I can't play, I'm gonna show y'all that I could still be a dog in some way. Cheered them on, brought them water, did all of that, no shirt on. And Coach Jewell, that's my defensive coordinator, he set the tone. I remember 4 years ago when we lost to Cardinal Ritter in the district championship, everybody was hitting me up telling me to fire him and you need to get rid of him and all of that. That dude worked harder than anybody I ever worked with, ever. He worked harder than I did when I was in his spot. Yeah. And so I knew in that moment, I said, he just need experience, but he gonna be ready when the time go. And really, if you watched us, our defense led us this year, and he a big part of that, man. The way that he game plans is next level. So when he came out with the sleeves cut off, man, the whole defense is turned up.
Set the tone.
Yeah, he set the tone. And then if you see in the state championship game, Coach Buck, our other defensive backs coach, he ended up joining them, and they both went out there with the sleeves off just to set the tone on the state championship game.
Love it. So for those who don't know, both guys love to troll, and Coach Wagner, since day one, I've seen the post, no matter if it's on the X, on Facebook, whatever it is, you want the smoke.
Oh, yeah, always.
And obviously you backed it up with what you did this past Friday.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't know if y'all aware of this, but St. Louis enjoys some drama on social media.
Unfortunately.
And this happened today. And when I say a whole firestorm happened and it went crazy, talk about this and look at the camera if you don't mind, and just let everyone know what was the reason for this post and why you stand on that.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a post. Somebody sent me a post about me. If you tag me in anything, I guarantee that I'm going to respond regardless of who you are or who you think you are. I stand on my program. I'm a represent my program. I stand on me being one of those guys. If you know me, I've stood on the fact that the only difference between me and anybody else is that I'm young. That's it. Once I get to a certain point, I'll be respected the same way, as far as just accomplishments. So for me, it's about standing on what we believe in, you know what I'm saying? And so that post, man, that was about trying to get the game going, but at the same time, we handling business behind the scenes. Let's handle business, you know what I'm saying? And so that was the point of that post. It was like, hey, I want you to know that at the same time, if you put me out there, I'll put you out there. When it comes to coaching and football, I fear nobody.
Yeah,
it is nobody. I get on a board with anybody. We could go do X's and O's. I do that with anybody, and I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also a businessman. I spent my first 3 years doing business and advertising. So when you talk about social media posts and all of that, nobody got a following like me that's doing it right now on that platform. You talk about X and all of that. Nobody got the platform that I got. You know what I'm saying? So if you go playing on my name, you just got to be able to stand in that and stand with that. You know what I'm saying? And then on the business side, if you making it, we gonna make it too. It ain't gonna be no one-sided show when you dealing with me. You could play everybody else like that, but if it got to do with my program, see, my kids need new uniforms too. My kids want nice helmets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that's what that was about. Me and Coach ended up talking. I respect Coach Sunk. I think he's one of the greatest to do it. So it's not in a disrespectful way. It's really just this my program and we stand for what we stand for. And anybody that challenged that, I'm gonna stand up on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That'll always be that way. So anybody that wants to smoke, man, you tag me, just be ready. I'm gonna tag you back. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I learned to play tag.
There, and then you was right behind with your own post, saying the same things.
Because I know the real. You know what I'm saying? I know the real, man. People can post stuff and you got all the goofballs making their comments and saying what they think they know and all that. Like, you don't know nothing. You don't know anything about what's going on. So, you know, like I said, I'm riding with my bro. I'm riding with my bro on this.
Yeah.
I'm riding with him.
So before y'all have to go ahead and leave, as I show this photo right here, what do you want to say to, I know you already had your after the game, after the end of the season meeting and everything, but right now on social media, just seeing your players, seeing your staff, what do you want to say, both? I'll start with you, Coach Wagner, to your team, because I'm sure there was a moment when you first arrived 4 years ago, you had to earn and gain their trust. You know what I'm saying? They had to believe in what you wanted to bring to the table. And then from what they see what you do on social media with your confidence, you know what I'm saying? And for them to believe in you and then to see the reward for what they did by believing in you. So what do you want to say to first your players and your coaching staff from this incredible run that you had?
So to my players, man, thank you. All right. It's the first team that when it came to the confidence piece, there was no faking. If you've been around me, that's what I stand on. It ain't no faking. When we went out, it didn't matter what nobody did. You could come out with horses. You could have motorcycles going. You could flex. You can make pregame videos. You can have your fans make posts. At the end of the day, when we line it up, we own you. We own you. And I love that team for that. That team right there, man, they backed up. They personified exactly who I am as a person, period. My coaches, man, they just supported. They supported the vision and what I believed in. We had our battles over the 4 years, and we got to a point to where they saw, man, all he trying to do is push us to be champions. And so I was able to challenge people week to week, man, and all they did was answer the call. They just answered the call. They champions. That's what make you a champion. You know what I'm saying? So salute to my coaches, man. I thank you for the time. I thank you for believing in my vision and supporting my vision. And I love it. I love them dudes. Them dudes at any time they can come to me for whatever, and I'll be there. And that's for my players too.
And Coach Mitch.
Man, for the players, it was a long 4 years. We came a long way. We came a long way. When we first got there 4 years ago, we got a lot of pushback. They didn't believe in the coaching staff because of what they was used to. So 4 years later, they stood on business. They stood on business. They trust the coaches. They trust the process. They believed in us and themselves, and they backed it up the whole year. The whole year, man. And I appreciate them for that. And I'm blessed to be able to coach a group of kids, young men like that. I appreciate that. And we finished as champions. Ain't no other way to go out than to send your senior class out with a state championship. There's no other way. This is the best way we did it.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I even thought about texting you or messaging you during the first half of the game. Like, hey, I want to get you on the show because once again, I followed your story since day one. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to have these gentlemen here because first, once again, I already know Damion from way back, you know what I'm saying, over almost 30 years now, you know what I'm saying? But I knew these guys and I seen the story. And, you know, I love my wrestling, so it just fit perfectly when I said you finished your story. Now, with that being said, what's next for Lutheran North?
So, you know, obviously, man, we still enjoying our state championship. And I told the kids, normally we get right back to work. And actually our seniors and a few of our juniors were in the weight room yesterday, even though I told them, you know, we're going to start in January this year.
Right.
You know, and to enjoy this moment. So right now we're getting rings ready. We go down tomorrow to do our all-state thing and get some recognition for our kids and our coaching staff. And then we're working on schedule for next year. Week 1, we've kind of sold up. I haven't really shared yet, but we're going to be playing the last team and really one of the teams that nobody from here has been able to beat. All right. So nobody from the metro area, all right, has been able to beat this team that we play week 1. And so we're trying to go out and become the first to knock off Mount Carmel, who I believe they played Eastside 2 years ago and knocked off Eastside in week 1. They won 3 straight state championships, and they've won 16 total. So right now, that's who we got slated for week 1. Week 2, if we gonna share the pot, then we'll get Eastside, and if they don't want to share and they want to get some new helmets, then they could go and mess with somebody else, and we'll play Blair Oaks. So we'll see how that go. But week 1. We got the team that knocked Eastside. That was my goal. So that way, if something happens, we'll beat them then. Yeah. And then you could try to debate it again, and then maybe we'll play the following year,
Well, once again, it was awesome to have y'all on the show in person. I definitely want to do it in person to have more of that intimate feel with y'all and just talk one-on-one. Thanks again for y'all patience. Everyone who was tuning in earlier and we had to wait an extra half an hour. But these guys got to go. But stay tuned. I'm gonna take us off the screen just for a second. I'm gonna walk these guys upstairs so they can go ahead and go to their next destination. But once again, fellas, thank y'all very much. Look forward to many more conversations on the platform Sports Talk Show. Any special shout outs?
Oh man, shout out to my coach and staff. I know you watching. Shout out to all of the East Side people that have been commenting all day on my status. I know you watching. And shout out to anybody that don't know nothing about getting money but think they do. If you gonna come see Lutheran North, we're gonna make sure that it's done the right way always. All right. And then shout out for my team for being state champions and handling business this year.
And Coach Mitchell.
Hey, shout out to the people that's watching the show right now. Shout out to the Lutheran North team and family and parents, man. Without them parents this year, the parents was backing us 200% this year.
Mm-hmm.
We got some great parents at Lutheran North. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to everybody for all the support. The people that supported me through my journey. I appreciate y'all.
Much love, man. So I'm about to go ahead and walk these guys out so they can go on to their next destination. So this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Be right back, y'all. All right, everyone. We are officially back. This is the second hour of the show. And when I say tonight has been an interesting night, but we are still here. And I want to personally thank each and every one of y'all who stuck through to tune in and check out the incredible conversation I had with both Coach Kyle Wagner and with Coach Damion Mitchell. They shared their story. It was an amazing journey from 4 years ago to what happened this past Friday in Columbia, Missouri, as Lutheran North or your 2024 Class 4, y'all, Missouri State High School football champions. And now it is time for some more fun, another great conversation. This brother was on Smoooth Conversations, the podcast that I have that's not about sports, and he shared his journey. And he's a St. Louis native. He is a producer. He is on the hit show Tyler Perry. I know y'all watching, y'all, on BET Plus. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Tyler Perry. Y'all seen Sisters, and y'all seen the spinoff, I'm sure, of Zatima. And this man plays, I said it before, I'll say it again, that irritating Nathan on the show. And we talked a little bit on social media, well, more so in regards to the comments. And I said, I got to have you on the show. And he said, cool, reached out, and shouts out to his people getting at me. And he is ready. Sorry for the delay this evening, everyone, but we here. Get them shares going. let's bring in Mr. Cameron Fuller.
Woo! What's going
Oh, man,
on?
what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me back.
Man, it's good to have you back as well. How life been treated since the last time you was on my platform on Smooth Conversations?
The honor I had. Well, I just had my first child, so it's been interesting last month. She's now a month old, and it's been a joy, man. So life has been treating me good. God has been treating me good, and a lot has been happening in the sports world, man. So that's been when I'm bottle feeding and when I'm with her, yeah, I'm watching my shows. I'm watching my First Things First. I'm watching my First Takes, my Club Shay Shay. You know, I'm tuned in all the world of sports. So that's kind of keeping me going through. That's keeping me up when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just watching my videos, getting caught up on what I missed in the sports world. So, but it's been good. Life has been good.
That's awesome, man, and congratulations on you having your first child. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So tell us about that feeling of now you're a dad. Talk about that feeling real quick.
Man, honestly, you know, it's just a great sense of responsibility. Like I'm actually in charge of another life, and I have a great deal of pride about it, and want to create the best life for her. So um, it's just looking at her and watching her literally just grow over the last month from when we brought her home till now. She's gotten so big, and she's developing her features. So I just have a great deal of pride, and I'm really excited to be an active participant in her life. I didn't grow up with my father, so for me, it's like really exciting to like really be kind of just hands-on and guiding and leading and nurturing this new life and fostering this life. So yeah, it's pretty ecstatic feeling.
That's awesome, man. So when you like just roaming around the streets, I believe you in California right now.
Yeah, I'm in LA.
You going around the streets, man. Do people be calling you Nathan or Nate?
That when I'm in the mall or stuff, I get stopped. They're like Nate. You know, if I'm at the movies, I get stopped at the movies a lot. Like I go to the movies, and people always like, yeah, I catch them looking at me like we'd be in a concession line or a ticket line, and somebody will just like, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, they must watch the show. They're gonna come up to me and they're like, hey, is you Nate? Are you Nate? I'm like, yeah, I'm Nate. And they kind of let me have it at first, right? They let me have it. They tell me how they feel, and then they're like, oh, by the way, I love you. I love the show. Love everything Tyler's doing, and yeah, I get a lot of hate and love, right? I get a lot of hate and love. It's all good. I appreciate it.
And when you were on Smooth Conversations, and please feel free, everyone, scan the QR code and follow everything about Smooth Productions. But when you were on Smooth Conversations, you talked about in regards to the team and this season that it was like a huge message that y'all all wanted to get across. And these episodes that have been going on for this season, when I say the acting, I feel has been brought to a whole different level this season. The drama, the action, the storytelling has been truly amazing and riveting. My wife, she loves watching Sisters and Zatima, and she always wants to see, no matter what show it is, okay, let's get right to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, let's get to it. Like, don't
be
around.
And so once again, from the first episode to the break that y'all have right now, just talk about the storyline and how deep and why y'all want to take it to a different level to this extent for this season.
Absolutely. Well, I think the through line here for where we find ourselves in season 3 is Zach trying to prepare for his mother's funeral, kind of just get his life back on track after his business almost went under, after his account was frozen. And he's also struggling to help his brother, who is kind of spiraling out of control at this point after the loss of their mother. And he's fallen deeper into his addiction. And I think that is the first 10 episodes. You watch this battle amongst a group of people who are trying to find a way to do the right thing but at the same time, they are willfully committing acts that are just dishonest. They're just going about it, in my opinion, the wrong way. And I think that's why in the first 10 episodes, the character Nathan, he's not really on board with all the secrecy that is at play and all the kind of conspiring amongst each other to figure out this problem instead of addressing the problem head on with the characters involved and the people who are a part of the problem, mainly Fatima, Jeremiah, and Zach. And the situation that happened between the three of them, with Jeremiah kind of in one of his high states, pushing Fatima down while looking for money and looking for a settlement check that was coming for his mother that was supposed to come to the house. So he tracks Fatima down, and in the process of doing that, he's not really all there, and he pushes her, and he doesn't know she's pregnant. Really, nobody's adept to that knowledge that she's carrying a child. So, of course, for Zach, when he finds this out, and the fact that everybody kept this from him, he explodes, and he really just lets everybody have it.
Yes, he did.
And so you walk away from that after you watch those first 10 episodes, and I think this will be, for you and your wife. It's like, would you, your brother, cousin, uncle, someone puts their hands, and not only puts their hands, but just like they're tussling and something happens, you would want that information right away, right? You would not want people, me and your best friend, I'm over here talking to your wife and like, how we going, what we gonna do, and everybody's leaving you out of the loop, and so you just like, come on, man, y'all let me get this worked up, and I beat this man almost to death. Now, I'm not saying I would have beat him up to, if you had told me in the beginning, but the beat down wouldn't have maybe been as bad, And so in the first 10 episodes, you see that, and I think a lot of people walked away with like feeling kind of conflicted. Like, what would you do? Like, how would you handle this situation? Do you think they handled it properly? Do you think that they kind of let it string out too long? And I think a lot of people walked away kind of like, okay, well, where do we go from here? How in the world can they top what just happened? And so I say, December 26th, you're gonna find out.
There you go. There's the promo I was waiting on right there. There's the promo. So my wife just left a comment. Shouts out to the wifey. She shares my same sentiments, because I was just going to say, as you were explaining the story, that I've seen the evolution and the growth in your character. Because, as I said before, bringing you on, you like the irritating, annoying, but you like the one who pretty much has sense in this season. So just talk about that role in you showing your growth and maturity from where you were the first two seasons to, as my wife said, you've been on point, even though they were mad at you for wanting to tell Zach what's going on.
What's going on? Absolutely. I think that was the thing I was most excited for this season, was when I read the script, I saw, oh wow, like this guy is taking an active role in trying to be a better friend and just a better a person in his friend group. Of course, he's not perfect, and of course, he still has his old ways, and he slips and falls back into them. But for the most part, he's actively trying to just be, Team Zatima, or really Team Zach, right? He's growing the Team Zatima, but he's really being Team Zach, trying to be a better friend for Zach. And I think that was the main thing. He was like, look, I just kind of got into it with Zach. I'm not trying to lie to him. And even if it is, even if that comes at getting closer to Fatima or her being in her good graces, Nathan doesn't care about that. He's like, I don't care about being in her good graces. I'm going to be a good friend of my boy. And a good friend, even though it would hurt him, he would tell him the truth right there in that moment. But, Tony talks him out of it. And Belinda, for all her messiness,
Belinda.
Yeah. She's telling him to do the right thing, but for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Right. Like she wants him to tell him, because she thinks it'll hurt Zach even more. And I don't know what's going on with Belinda, but no, the growth, and I was really excited because when you start acting it out and you're in those scenes and you're in the moment and you're delivering your lines, it in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, like they gonna really eat this up, because it's like, it's of all people to have any kind of rationale, the character that has been the most annoying for the last two seasons is the one that is finally coming around the corner, and he's making sense. And I think because I thought for me, like I would want somebody to tell me, like, of course it's gonna piss me off, it's make me mad, but that friend, that bro code, right? It's the bro code. It's like, that's my dog, that's my brother. I gotta tell him, and that's why Tony, he feels so guilty once Zach confronts him, because if you notice in that whole fight scene, Nathan is the only person that kind of don't feel Zach full wrath. Like Tony getting flipped over, pushed up against doors. Nathan is kind of like in the clear. He's like, oh, skating by, because Nathan wanted to tell Zach, and he was trying to tell Zach, even out front of his home, when he's like, oh, it's about Jeremiah. He's like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Jeremiah always doing something. He's like, no, you need to hear this, bro. And everybody whisk him inside. So I think in the latter half, though, everybody go watch that trailer, that season 3B trailer over on BET Plus, BET, on all social pages. Go check it out. You can see that Zach has been back behind bars, and there's one of his friends is on a mission to get him out. Let's just say it like that.
There we go. I love it. So before we get right to the real reason why you were on this show tonight, talk about some more sports.
Yeah.
Lastly, congratulations. I saw that you were on another project on CBS. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Tracker. CBS's Tracker. Did a guest starring episode on episode 5 of season 2, episode 5, called Prenatural, working with Justin Hartley up in Canada. It was an amazing time. My character, Travis McCann, just him and his wife finally gotten pregnant. They've been trying for a while, and a young lady who kind of has some mystical abilities, let's say, she comes along and helps them, and she goes missing, and Tracker pays Travis a visit to find out more information on her. So yeah, you guys check that out over on CBS. Comes on every Sunday night, and it was an amazing experience to go up to Canada. I've never been to Canada, Vancouver. Never been to Vancouver before, and it's a beautiful city. And getting to film up there, everybody was so gracious, and it was an honor. So people liked the episode. They got a lot of good feedback from it. A lot of people loved the growing my new look. Some people were kind of surprised to me with a little mini fro and a goatee, but yeah, I like to switch it up as an actor, man. I love when I can play different characters, and I had a Southern accent because the show takes place in Kentucky, so or in around Appalachia, and so yeah, it was fun. And check that out, CBS's Tracker on Sundays.
There we go. So once again, congratulations on the success of having a hit TV series on Zatima, and of course Tracker, and your project that you have coming out as well that we discussed on Smoooth Conversations. Yeah. So you're doing your thing, man. Continue to make the Lou proud, man. Appreciate you, bro. So let's get right into it, because you said before a whole lot is going on in the world of sports. Woo. Let's talk about the college football. Let's talk about it. As you see, the top 4 seeds: Oregon, number 1, number 2, the Bulldogs, number 3, Boise State, number 4, Arizona.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then you see they have the buys. Then you have 5th seed Texas facing off against 12th seed Clemson. We have 8th seed Ohio State versus 9th seed Tennessee. That's the
game of the week.
Yeah,
right?
That should be an amazing game. We have 7th seed Notre Dame versus 10th seed Indiana, and then 6th seed Penn State versus the 11th seed SMU. So your thoughts in regards to, first off, the 12-team college football playoff?
Man, so honestly, I think the committee got it wrong here. To be quite real, I don't see how. First of all, my biggest beef is SMU Clemson, but my biggest beef is with Indiana at up there in the 10th seed. Their strength of schedule is like 60th in the nation or something. The biggest game of the year they played in, they got manhandled.
Yeah, they did.
They could not stand toe-to-toe with anyone in the trenches. They are not built for that big level, big boy, bully ball, SEC Big Ten football, in my opinion. If you look at their schedule, they played the bottom half of the Big Ten. They didn't play the upper echelon. And again, when they met Ohio State face to face, they got railroaded. So for the committee, for them to just kind of sit for the past 4 weeks between 10 and 6 and just kind of float in there, not playing anybody after losing to Ohio State, not playing the Big Ten championship, I think it was just it was ridiculous. I think Boise. What I got to say about the auto buys and the auto bids for conference championships, I get rewarding winning your conference championship, but when you playing in the Mountain Valley West or when your biggest game of your year is BYU and you lose that game, and you kind of basically get to kind of skate off the coattails of your star running back who's having a historic season, you kind of get this credit. But to be 3 and have a bye, I don't see how you can say that they're the 9th best team in the country according to the ranking, but they're top 3 seeded team in the playoff just because they won their conference championship, which again wasn't a game because UNLV, they weren't equipped to even remotely deal with the run. Even though they gave them a game earlier, they gave them a good game earlier in the season. That was ridiculous. I'm actually kind of Arizona State. I am very, very surprised by their season,
right?
Given the fact that they did not have a big NIL collective, and for them to already be doing this well without really having many NIL resources in the Big 12, I must say is a testament to their coach, who's I think second-year head coach, our first year. Doing an excellent job, and if they really, Scatterboo is a good running back. If they give those guys some money, they may make some noise in the Big 12. Clemson's going to get railroaded. They're going to get blown off the field down at Texas. They deserve it. They're again the ACC is not a good conference. They kind of skated by, but that takes me to Tennessee, Ohio State. I can't even tell you who I'm going to pick in that game because since it's in Columbus, I will give the edge to Ohio State. But coming off that performance against Michigan, they could not really stop the run or the play action pass, which was kind of ridiculous because Michigan has a walk-on quarterback right now. But I'm going to chalk that up to the big game, as they call it, and them kind of having this jinx with Michigan, losing them the last 4 years in a row. But Tennessee's explosive, and they have a great defense. Tennessee can pull that one off.
I can see that. So with Georgia beating Texas last week in the SEC championship game, do you see them as being the biggest threat to take down Oregon?
Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, you would kind of have to say so. If you look at the bracket they sit in, this is definitely, if you're Georgia, you definitely like the side of the bracket. You definitely have a nice path to the final game. The only thing that I don't believe in Penn State at all. I think if Penn State met Georgia, they'd get blown off the field. I'd say if anything, if Notre Dame can catch them and make it a 17-20 ball game, if you can catch a Notre Dame team that's kind of getting on hot, Marcus Freeman has them kind of cooking right now. If you can get that game, and it's in Athens, Georgia, and make it kind of ugly and kind of a snooze fest, that's the only way I see Georgia not making it out of this side of the bracket.
So,
yeah.
So just so you know, this first round is being played, like you said, in the higher seeds home field. The next round is going to be played in a neutral site.
Okay.
So I believe Georgia is playing in the Peach Bowl.
Is that Mercedes-Benz or is that New Orleans?
That's, I believe, New Orleans.
Okay. So it's in the South. So it's not really a home game for them, but it's still Notre Dame coming down to the South. So I think Georgia will represent pretty well in that game. I don't think that's Athens I think plenty of people will be happy to make that trip. But Notre Dame has a very strong and historic fan base. So I won't be surprised to see some Fighting Irish down there in Louisiana raising hell, cheering their team on. I think that is very much a strong likelihood. But I'd give the nod to Georgia. But, Georgia hasn't been impressive. And I think, you know what? I just remembered their starting quarterback is not going to play.
Exactly.
Their starting quarterback is done. And that kid, the backup, did not impress me. They can say he did, but, it's easy to come in relief in the midst of chaos. but you give a team 3 weeks to prepare for your backup quarterback.
Right.
You know, so Notre Dame. Actually, I give Notre Dame a better shot than I kind of originally thought because I just forgot all about Carson Beck's injury, and Stockton is not. He's not the sub that kind of backup, and I think the lack of depth we've now witnessed across college football can only be chalked up to the transfer portal and NIL. Because back in the day, you can't tell me that second string quarterback wasn't a guy. Back in the early 2000s, late 2010s, those backups, they could play. USC, I mean, you had Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, like you had the ascension plan in most places. Vince Young, you go to Colt McCoy, that doesn't happen anymore. That 5-star kid that commits, another 5-star kid comes in, that kid's leaving the next year. And it gives you some parity, but then you have situations like this where one of the best teams in the nation, when healthy, in the Georgia Bulldogs, they are without who was Carson Beck, seen as a top NFL prospect before this year started. I don't think that's the case anymore. He has not looked good this season. He does not look like a quality NFL quarterback, in my opinion. So, I think Georgia should be on the lookout. They should be on upset alert for sure. But I think the only chance to stop Texas and I think Oregon, Texas. That's an interesting game if they make it to that.
True that. Boise State will be in the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona. Arizona State will be in the Cotton Bowl. That's in the Cowboy Stadium. And then Oregon has the Rose Bowl.
Okay, so that's very familiar setting for them. But I'll tell you this. They don't want to – if I'm Oregon, I hope Ohio State makes it. Because if I'm Oregon, I do not want to see a Tennessee team out here in California on a nice 60-degree night running around. Because those boys, it's SEC. Them boys get the flying. They got some speed. They got some playmakers. They got a good quarterback.
Right.
I'm not saying Oregon doesn't, but, Oregon really hasn't. Their schedule's been a little light, too. They beat Ohio State, but Oregon's, it'll be interesting to see what they look like against the SEC team, especially in the trenches, because Oregon they have some good guys in the trenches, but that SEC ball, it comes with a little reputation. So it'll be interesting to see that game if it kicks off. So,
big question here, and I had to ask this because, this is what we do on the Platform Sports Talk Show. The Heisman race.
Yeah.
Who do you have, Travis Hunter or the star from Boise State?
I let me just say this and preface this by saying I love what Coach Prime has done in Colorado and what he's done for Shedeur, his son Shedeur, and Travis Hunter, really kind of being a steward and leaders of both of them. I think what Travis Hunter has done has been amazing. I think that he to have over 1,000 yards receiving, he has like 14 touchdowns, I believe, 4 interceptions. I'm sure 40 plus tackles. I'm sure. But I don't think he's as great as a wide receiver that he is DB to merit the kind of fanfare. It's like, could he do it at the next level? I don't think he could do it at the next level. I don't think anybody could sustain that and hold up playing both sides in the NFL. But for college, what he's doing is amazing. If it wasn't in and I'm kind of a conference snob. I am. I really have a conference bias. But the Big 12, I mean, those guys, some of those kids are going to play ball on Sundays, but for most, not everybody's going to play ball on Sunday. If he's doing this down in the SEC, if he's at LSU doing this, going both ways, seeing some of the top teams in the country, yeah. But on the other hand, for Ashton Genty, he gets about 30 carries a game. On average, I'd say he gets 20 carries on average throughout the season. He probably has about 20, 25 carries a game. He's about 130 yards away from Barry Sanders' record, all-time record. And he's in Boise, and he's kind of the only player on this team. He literally is the best player on this team. It's kind of like the MVP talk, right? Like most valuable. He's carrying this team. If he hasn't been in a CFB, Travis Hunter doesn't have his team in a CFB, and they had an opportunity to be there. And you would think, as a player that plays both ways, you could have a greater impact on your team's chances to make the playoffs in the Big 12. All you had to do was beat Kansas, and you're in. And he showed up, but he didn't show up enough. Ashton Genty, when he's been called upon, time after time, 70-yard run here, 50-yard run here, 4 tackles broken here, and now we have a bye. We're the 4th-rated team in the college, 3rd-rated team in the college football playoff with a bye, and we get to go to Phoenix to host the bowl game and be 1 game away from the semifinals. What if I told you that the Boise State that they'd be in the semifinals of the college football playoff to start the year? You go, well, what? Boise State? And they're 1 game away from doing that. So I kind of gotta tilt my head to the running back who's carried them there. He's the sole reason. They didn't pass the ball hardly. So I'd lean towards Ashton Genty, but I wouldn't be upset if Travis Hunter won it after the job he's done this season.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see. I wouldn't be mad if Travis Hunter did win, but I think Ashton Gentry is more deserving, especially with him being in a position of being a running back and producing how he's been producing. That I can't see him not winning the Heisman.
I mean, we're talking 8-9 man boxes here. You know, like they know he's getting the ball.
Right.
They know it's coming to him. And for him to have 20+ touchdowns, over 2,300 yards rushing, you know, I think he has some crazy number like 6.7 yards after contact. And it's like, I know a team in Dallas that could use a running back that can get you 6.7 yards after contact.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got some for the Cowboys.
Okay, well, you know what? Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about the standings here. So AFC, Buffalo 10-3, just basically lost the game against the Rams. A very high scoring game.
That was not good. I'm gonna just to say that's a bad sign. Just say that, Buffalo. Bad sign of things to come.
And creeping up slowly, making some noise. The Dolphins, yeah, they're 6-7, but they are making a run.
They are what I think they could get one of those wild card spots easily. Looking at the conference here, they're going to go against Indy probably and the Chargers to see who'll get that last spot between Indy, Chargers, and Miami.
Now the AFC South, Houston has a 2-game lead, but they have not been as dominant as they were to begin the year.
No, they have not looked the same. They have. I don't know if it's a sophomore slump for CJ Stroud, but it has the play has teetered off. I mean, he's also been without a lot of his receivers this season. You know, Stephon Diggs going down, Nico Collins going down for a few weeks earlier in the season, and kind of playing Tank Dell being in and out of the lineup. They've relied heavily on Joe Mixon, who I don't understand what Cincinnati was thinking. Now looking back on it, the Bengals could have definitely used Joe Mixon this season running the ball, because he has been running the ball phenomenally. He's the only reason why the Texans have their plus, 2 games over 500, because of his running style and his determination. You know, he runs the ball angry. But yeah, the Texans, the defense has not been as stringent as it was last season. Will Anderson being hurt definitely has something to do with that. Danielle Hunter has been a man on a mission, so he's played amazing, but Will Anderson's been injured. They've had some injuries to secondary as well. Their starting linebacker, Chris Harris, has been out. Bama boy, he's returning to the lineup. So maybe in this back half of games here, we may see the Texans surge, but they really got to pull it together. They want to have any kind of chance of making any kind of noise in the playoffs.
Right. AFC North. If anyone would have told me that Pittsburgh would be leading the AFC North, I would have been like, okay, yeah, right. And what an incredible job by Mike Tomlin, and what a comeback by Russell Wilson.
Yes, I think it starts there, right? The for him to even sign with Pittsburgh, people were kind of like, I don't know if Russ fits this team. I don't know if he has the swagger to be a Steeler, so forth and so on. But, you know, Russ is just, from what everybody says about him, he's just an even keel good guy. Like, he's not a poser. Like, the Russ you see is really who he is. This isn't some act that he's doing when he's in front of a camera. Broncos country, let's rock. Like that's really just who he is. He's kind of, that kid out in the suburbs. He's just that guy. And I think the thing that why it works in Pittsburgh is because Russ has never been a turnover machine. His last few seasons in Seattle, he had some problems. He was injured, and then he had Nathaniel Hackett his first season in Denver, who couldn't call plays for Lutheran North, who just won a state championship. and and you see how that worked out. And then Sean Payton came in. I've never been a big Sean Payton fan. I think he's very overrated. I think what he did with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a generational quarterback with small arm, crazy accuracy. He put a great scheme around Drew Brees. Don't get me twisted. But I mean, what he's doing with Bo Nix is impressive. But him and Russ didn't vibe because Sean already had his mind made up on who Russ was. But what Mike Tomlin has done, he embraced Russ. He said, "Hey, you're my guy. Regardless of how well Justin's playing, I know you can unlock this offense to a point where we can run it, we can throw it, and we can be off schedule if we need to be." See, with Justin Fields, there are too many off schedule plays. Justin's not going to drop back 3-step drop and hit the breaking 15-yard dig over the middle of the field. He's not doing that. He's going to take off after his first read. So what Russ has been able to do with this offense has been amazing. And it's freed up the defense. That defense looks amazing because they're not on the field all day.
Mm-hmm.
They look amazing. With TJ Watt and with Cam Hayward, who's been playing forever, I feel like.
Right.
Patrick Queen, Mika Fitzpatrick in the secondary. And they got another edge rusher off the edge. They got like 3 edge rushers, including TJ Watt, that are really getting after the quarterback. I did not see them 10-3 at the start of the season. I was thinking 10-7, 9-8, but to reel up and to look good doing it. They have a good run game. They have a balanced passing attack. They use the tight ends. They love the top. Freiermuth has been killing it. Pittsburgh is a great story. Regardless of what happens this season, they got to bring Russ back, right?
And then on the other side, the second place team, the Ravens, I've been saying this for years now. Even when he won MVP, I just cannot trust Lamar Jackson to lead the team to a Super Bowl. As talented as he is, and even with them getting Derrick Henry, it just seems like there's always something that's preventing him from being better, especially in the playoffs.
See, I gotta disagree, only because I feel what you're saying, but I was one of those guys where I just didn't see the passing ability, so I was just like, I don't get how this guy's gonna make it, but he's proven me wrong. I think this season, though, his defense has let him down. That is one of the worst defenses in the NFL, secondary wise. They have trouble in man, which is kind of crazy, but in zone they kind of just sit. They don't have any turnover. They don't create any kind of turnovers. They don't get the pressure they used to get. They don't have the edge presence they used to have. For them not to bring back Clowney, who I think has 7 sacks down in Carolina right now, I think was a big mistake. They didn't make any moves in the offseason to really get any kind of edge rushers. They let Patrick Queen go to division rival Pittsburgh, which I think was a dumb mistake. They picked up Derrick Henry, but for some reason, they don't want to give him the ball. And I get it. They got Lamar and they got Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and like Derek Likely and Andrews. But I think their record is like 5-1 or something when they give Derrick Henry and he gets like over 20 carries or something like that.
Right.
It's a ridiculous record. But for Lamar, I think just when he gets in these big, like last season, I don't understand why he tried to throw the ball so much. Like, he didn't use your legs, Lamar. It's like he's on purpose trying to show the world that I could be a pocket passer,
right,
and that I'm not just this. Because if I beat this team, they're going to say, well, he just ran around and they couldn't catch him. It's like, well, so? That's exact God gave you that ability. Use it.
So he saw what RG3 went through, and he didn't want to go through that.
Yeah. RG3 got nailed to the cross, so to speak.
Yeah. AFC West, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. But what is so crazy is that even to this point, they still have not been the best version of themselves at all.
Smooth. They whoever is on the blind side, maybe me and you need to go team up and create one person. Maybe we can protect Patrick Mahomes. Because I'm telling you, man, it's a turnstile over there, man. You know, them doors you go through the mall, you just press it and it just lets you right in and it goes in a circle. It's a turnstile. Those guys, Humphreys didn't look no better, and he's off he's off the street. They brought him in off the street because that's how bad it was. They can't protect him. I think there's some crazy number. Like Patrick Mahomes has been hit 36 times this season. He's on pace to reach like pre-Andrew Luck levels when he first got to Indianapolis.
Right.
He is getting killed. They don't have D-Hop is a good acquisition, but he don't separate like he used to. Travis Kelce doesn't separate like he used to.
Right.
He still can give you a play or two in the critical moment. So I'm not gonna take anything from Kelce. But as far as like separating and looking explosive, Kelce don't look explosive. Pacheco just got back, but he runs so violent that you can't really depend on Pacheco. Like he runs so violent that he's gonna hurt himself. You know, Xavier Worthy has not been what I think they thought he would be. Ran 4.27, but I tell you sometimes 4.21. But it's different, man, when you got to catch that ball and it's 40 degrees outside. That 4.21 don't translate. Kansas City, we from the Midwest. He from Texas. You know, one of them Kansas City nights in Missouri, it's 30 degrees. The wind chill bring down to 17. You're not running 4.21, and you don't catch the ball with your hands.
Right.
He's not a natural pass catcher. You know, he likes to cradle it sometimes and get it up in here in his body. And so I don't think he's been what they think. And their defense move is they're banged up in the secondary. Chris Jones is the only person on that front line that really gets any consistent pressure. You know, 90, 91 gets sometime, but that's really it. But like you said, man, they have not played their best ball, and but that's the thing though. If you were coaching right now at Kansas City, would you feel good going into the playoffs knowing that you aren't playing your best ball, but you're still 12-1? Or would you be worried that you're not playing your best ball going into the playoffs, and if you suffer your first loss or your second loss of the season, does it come in a divisional round, and how embarrassing that'll be? Because we've all seen you play this risky style of football where you're in one-score games with 2 minutes left every week.
So to answer that question, as long as number 15 is on the field, I am totally confident. And I've been saying this even before the season. As long as he's on the field, they're good to go. If there's any point, and for the Chiefs Kingdom, if for any reason that he is hurt and cannot perform, then that's when you got a problem. But as long as he's on that field, I believe he can make anything happen. Because he did, remember 2 years ago when he had a bum ankle and we thought, oh, it was a wrap. But look what happened. He still made things happen. The dude just has it. So as long as 15 is on that field, everything's going to be just fine.
I mean, you ain't lying. The guys, since Brady, there's been nobody in the NFL where they get the ball. If you're giving them the ball last, you can call it good night.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
I got to give it to Patty. So you're right.
But the AFC West, outside of the Raiders, they are loaded. So I see those three teams, the Chargers and the Broncos, going into the playoffs. Let's talk about the NFC side. There's some drama going on in Philly with the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown. Not a lot of nice words from A.J. Brown when they asked him about what is the issue with this team, and he says passing. But the whole thing is that the Eagles been doing great, you know what I'm saying, since Miriani cut his hair. No, I'm sorry, Nick Sirianni.
That's what I thought. I think he was the coach. As somebody who played receiver, it is tough being dependent on somebody when you're playing a team game like football, and no position is more dependent than receiver. I think AJ is clearly been talking to. He's frustrated. I'm just wondering, has he been communicating this behind closed doors, and it just boiled up, and he's like, nobody's listening to me. I'm only averaging 3 targets a game over the last 6 games. I told what's the OC from the Kellen Moore? Is that his name? Came from Dallas. I told Kellen what's going on. He ain't listening. So I'm gonna just get out here into the media. I think it was. It looks bad because like they've won 9 in a row, But going forward that if the Eagles are gonna make any kind of playoff run, if they're gonna beat Minnesota or Denver or even Green Bay, like you got to get into a shootout, and Jalen is not distributing the ball at a rate that gives you confidence that if the Eagles get down 17-7, that they're gonna be able to make a way to come back.
Yeah.
He's not seen the field. He's not been seeing the field the way even he was last season. He's missing a lot of throws, but you just can't air your quarterback out like that, man. Like, because now it's dominated the headlines for the whole week going into Sunday, and you play in Pittsburgh. So, if for some reason, if Mike Tomlin go, hey, we gonna just shade coverage to 11 just to get him worked up so he can the team route. That's what I'm doing. If I'm coaching in Pittsburgh, I'm a D coordinator. I'm shading coverage to 11. Let's take him out the game. Let's get him the whole first quarter. Let's just shade coverage to him, and let's see how he reacts. Everybody else can get a catch. Let Smitty get all the catches. Let Saquon go off. Let's just shade 11, keep this game close, because he gonna self-destruct, and then it'll spread. If that's what I'm doing.
Got you. And I do have to say this too. I am definitely amazed by your. I shouldn't be surprised because you play football, but you are natural with your analysis. I'm about to have you on as a guy on the sports talk show now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I listen to all the shows, man. So I'm here. I'm with it.
Hey, I love it. I love it. The Redskins are fighting for their playoff lives, 8-5.
Impressive.
NFC, go ahead.
No, I was impressive. That's an impressive turnaround. When you think about the Redskins and the history of Washington football over the last decade, it has been marred in mismanagement of quarterbacks, ownership, everything. So for them to be 8-5 after just getting Dan Campbell over there, it's impressive. Jaden Daniels, impressive.
So shouts out to the Commanders.
Yeah.
NFC South Buccaneers, they are 1 game up over the Falcons. That is a very tight race, and just 2 games up pretty much over the Saints as well. So that's a toss-up right now with those 3 teams.
Can I tell you my favorite team in this division?
Who? Carolina?
Carolina. They only because of the brand of ball they've been playing the last few weeks. But Bryce Young, man, talk about from a kid that we didn't even know if he was going to be an NFL quarterback after this season.
Right.
To looking the way he's looked the last 5 weeks, it's been amazing. As far as between Tampa Bay and Atlanta, I'm kind of disappointed in Atlanta, man. I really kind of thought Atlanta was going to be a 10-plus win team this season with Kirk Cousins down there with Drake May and Brian Robinson and Kyle Pitts. And Atlanta is not, Raheem Morris is a good coach, but Atlanta's disappointed. Kirk Cousins mainly, right? I think he had something like 7 turnovers in the last 3 games or something crazy like that. He's just throwing the ball to the other team every time he steps on the field. Tampa has suffered some injuries with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin being in and out. I think Chris Godwin's done for the year, but they found something in those running backs. They got a little string of running backs. They got like 3 running backs that are amazing over there. So Baker Mayfield can just stay upright and stay healthy. I think Buccaneers going to win this division, kind of walking away. New Orleans just lost Derek Carr for the year because I think he thought he was Superman. I don't know what the hell he thought he was doing, trying to jump over a linebacker. I don't know what he thought that was. Like, bro, when have you ever done that in your career, bro? You're not
right.
built like that.
Right. All right. NFC North, Detroit. Woo. Man, what a season. And I've been saying this for the last 3 years. Like, watch out for the Lions. And the Lions are here, and they are legit on all facets of the ball.
Yeah.
Defense, offense, special teams, hell, even coaching. When I say this team is hitting on all cylinders, They are hitting on all cylinders.
It's impressive. It's impressive. You know, Dan Campbell, the turnaround job he's done, you got to give it up to him, man.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn, though, the brother over there on the defense, the defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
He's done an amazing job. He's going to be gone next year. He's going to get a head coaching job.
Same thing with Ben Johnson, the OC.
Ben Johnson. So that's the thing about Detroit. It is we're about to find out if their window is about to close.
Right.
Because they have two generational coaches, if you ask me, that are now about to go be head coaches.
Right.
Ben Johnson may end up in Chicago, and Aaron AG might end up in New Orleans. So we gonna see. But they also my only hiccup and my only concern with Detroit is down this home stretch is they injured, man. They are so banged up. They got like several starters that are out and they're not the lineup. They have taken they've taken a heavy toll for the 12-1 record they have. And they still got to watch out for Minnesota because Minnesota is quietly the best 11-2 team in the NFL. I mean, the Vikings, who saw Sam Darnold comeback player of the year?
Thank you.
Turnaround Sam Darnold's had to be 27-10, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions over the season. He looks amazing. I'm telling you right now, Minnesota has a real problem on their hands because if I'm management, I ain't never seen this J.J. McCarthy kid. I mean, we drafted him and we thought it was going to be kind of a rebuilding year this year, and we was going to just rely on our defense and let the rookie get his bumps in. But Sam is only 27 years old, and he has unlocked your offense. If I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm questioning. Yeah, well, I'm questioning what do we do because what you don't want to happen is you let Sam Darnold walk and he gets paid somewhere else, and you bring J.J. McCarthy, and then you in Chicago trade places.
Yeah,
you know, in Green Bay they look great. The thing is, Jordan Love got to stop thinking he Brett Favre in '96. Just don't try to make every throw. He tried to make every throw because he had a beautiful arm, but he tries to make every throw. And they defense a little banged up too. When they get healthy, the NFC North is a tough division, man. That may be the toughest division in football with the AFC West.
I mean, but look at the NFC West. Like every team is right there within.
Bruh, this is what I call the hard knock division.
Yeah,
because I watch all these teams play. They play physical, from Seattle to LA and I'm telling you right now, the Rams, they have an interior line that is about to their defensive linemen. They got these two kids out of Florida State, Fisk and Versay, I think is his name. I could be wrong, but they drafted them out of Florida State back to back, and they are causing havoc. Seattle's looking good. Geno, who would have thought Geno Smith had this long of a career, man? Come on, out of West Virginia. If I told you back when he left West Virginia that Geno Smith will be playing like 12 years later, I said, get the hell out of here. After he fumbled with the Jets, after he didn't cut it in New Orleans, for Geno Smith to be out here in Seattle, 8-5, with a great run game. Kenneth Walker's been in and out of the lineup. If they can get Kenneth Walker back in the lineup and healthy, they got Charbonnet who's running the ball. He's out of Notre Dame, and he's amazing. But with DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who just catches everything, and Tyler Lockett, he's still over there catching passes. They got Noah Fant, and their defense is underrated. Their head coach is a first-year head coach. I forgot he's a defensive coordinator from somewhere. But Seattle's impressive, and you got Arizona. See, Arizona's too inconsistent. That's why they 6-7. Arizona should be at the top of his division. Kyler Murray and the way him and Marvin Harrison Jr.'s look with James Conner, that offense has been, some weeks they'll put up 40. Some weeks they only gonna get 17 on it. It's like, I don't get Arizona. Their defenses are quietly good. Budda Baker has been one of the best safeties over the last decade. And San Francisco, man, they just riddled with injuries, man. And they got a lot of cap problems that are coming their way. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you see San Francisco kind of retooling for the next few years. Are they going to pay back Purdy after this year? What you going to do with Trent Williams? You just gave Ayuk all this money, but he tore his ACL and his PCL, so we don't know if he's going to be right. Debo complaining about not getting the ball now. You got George Kittle, his contract gonna come up again. You got Fred Warner. You got a lot of decisions you gotta make in San Francisco, man. So I believe that their window has closed. They had a nice window. They had about a 4 or 5 year window there where they were in the NFC Championship Super Bowl games every year. Them and the Eagles, or them and somebody else. So yeah, I think San Francisco might be they might be midnight might be striking on San Francisco soon.
So with that being said, we do have the playoff picture. If the playoffs start today, number 1 seeds KC and the AFC, NFC is Detroit. Then you have the 2 and 7 seed Buffalo and hosting the Broncos. You have the 3 seed Steelers hosting the Chargers. Then you have the 4 seed Texans hosting the Ravens. That's as of right now.
Rematch of last season.
Yeah. And then right now in the hunt, you have the Colts, Dolphins, Bengals. So let me go back. So got that going on right now. And then in the NFC, you have 2 seed Eagles hosting the Commanders, 3 seed Seahawks hosting number 6 seed Green Bay, and 4 seed Buccaneers hosting against the Vikings. Then you got the Rams, Falcons, Cardinals, 49ers right there in the mix. So we got 3 more weeks left.
Yeah, I tell you right now, no team in the NFC wants to see the Rams.
Right.
They get hot at the right time with that offense with McVay and Stafford and that defense, which is young. There'll be a problem.
Yeah.
In the AFC, I think the team you got to be to really, the sleeper team in the AFC for me is the Broncos. If you're not careful, Buffalo, and you're looking too far ahead, you might get upset.
And I want to add on to that. If the Bills lose in the first round, the head coach gone.
Oh, he out of there. He got to get fired.
Yeah,
fired yesterday. Yeah, Sean McDermott. He low-key on a hot seat, but it's not hot because he's winning. But this would be your 4th, 5th year in a row, man. It's kind of like say with Mike McCarthy. It's kind of the same as Mike McCarthy. He's like, look, man, you finished 12-5 all these times, but you never get out of the divisional round, bro. We might have to break it up.
Right.
The Broncos. I think the Steelers will handle the Chargers because I think the Chargers are who the Steelers will want to be and will be eventually. But they injured. They don't really have no receivers over there. They don't got no J.K. Dobbins. I think he's out for season again. But I got to give the Harbaugh, was it Jim? I got to give Jim Harbaugh credit, man. He turned that thing around because Brandon Staley was not the right guy.
No, he wasn't.
Brandon Staley was that was just privilege. Without how he ever got the job was just privilege. Being in the same stadium as Sean McVay and working for the Rams, the only reason you got that job. Baltimore and Texans. That's a health. If the Texans are healthy, that's fun. That's a fun matchup. But again, Baltimore, their divisional games and their wild card games, they look like an unbeatable team. For every season, ever since Lamar been there, they get in the wild card divisional game, they hang like 35 points on somebody, and then the next week you don't recognize them. So because they did that to Texans last year, so we'll see. Over in the NFC, my sleeper team is the Vikings, man. I'm telling you, I think if the Vikings can get on a roll, they match up good with anybody. Because you know why? Brian Flores, he's a hell of a defensive coordinator, man. They're going to light you up. That defense going to light you up. And you got to have a quarterback that can process fast. And the only quarterback, if this was to be the playoffs, that I would fear, it sounds crazy, but you tell me that Jared Goff is the baddest man right now in this playoff scenario? I'm not scared of Jalen Hurts killing me with throwing the ball. I'm not scared with Jaden Daniels. He's 190 pounds, and this is rookie season.
Right.
I'm not scared of Jordan Love because he might turn it over. I'm not scared of Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's nice, but Baker gonna Baker. And Geno is Geno Smith. So if you Minnesota, you like, we ain't really got to face no crazy quarterbacks. It's not like the AFC. The AFC got all the quarterbacks.
Right.
The AFC is where you got to go, damn, We might have Mahomes. We might have Allen. We might have Lamar. We might have Russ. We might have CJ. We got Justin Herbert. And Bo Nix he's a quiet dark horse for a rookie of the year. So, yeah, if this is how it shakes out, which I don't think it will, I think the Rams will end up getting in over one of these teams. I just don't know who it's going to be at. It may be Seattle if they win a division because they play Seattle this week, which is going to be important for the division. So if they can beat Seattle, the Rams, I can see Green Bay going to LA.
So speaking of the Rams, have you been to a Rams game before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so talk about from your standpoint, you being out in LA, is there a huge fandom with the Rams, or is it because both the Rams and Chargers share a stadium, and then we all know about how the opponent's team fandom love to take over the stadium as well in LA? Talk about the Rams, because we know it's not the same as it was in St. Louis, obviously. But just talk about from your standpoint of seeing the Rams and the fandom out there.
So I think the biggest thing that people got to realize is that LA is such a it's LA, so it's a destination city. So if we get the NFL schedule comes out in I think July or June or sometime like that, maybe July, late August, and I see that in October that we're Titans fans, me and you, and the Titans play LA in October. It's like, hey man, let's take some time off and let's go out and see that game on Sunday and go see the Titans versus the Rams. This is LA. We can have a good little weekend and end it with football.
Yeah.
So it's like Vegas, right? It's like, oh man, you gonna see a football game in Vegas? Like, yeah, my team's playing. So we going to Vegas, have a good time, and then we going to the game on Sunday. So it becomes this event, right? It's an event. And no, it's not like St. Louis where it's like, hey, it's Sunday. What we doing? Well, it's the Rams game. LA on Sunday, you going to the beach. You might go down and just have some lunch in Santa Monica. There's so many things to do. So yeah, the fandom is not the same. Stadium is beautiful, but with the Chargers, a lot of their fans stayed from San Diego. So their games, Charger games are way different. Like a lot of their fans came from San Diego. San Diego's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from the stadium. So they will literally drive up for Charger games and see their team. On top of the LA fans that are already here from San Diego, that may be Charger fans from back in the 90s that are living in Los Angeles. So a Charger game is very different from a Rams game. I've been to both. Charger fans be out there fighting. They crazy. Rams fans they ain't that intense. Charger fans, they still ride or die Charger fans.
There we go. Yeah. Let's go ahead and transition right into some NBA, because I saw you left the post, and that's why I hit you up. Like, hey, I got to have you on the show. I know you were talking about LeBron and the Lakers a while back, so we'll get to them in a second. But look at these standings, and OKC right now is on top of the West. In the East, the Cavaliers.
Wow,
what a start!
I mean, what a start! What a start! And they were going to break those guys up. Oh, I thought they was.
And what I like seeing too is you got these young teams with these young upcoming stars making moves. Like you look at the number 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies.
Wow.
And seeing Ja Morant healthy and the impact that he has with his team as long as he is on the court.
Yes. If he stays on the court, the Grizzlies will be a problem. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. The Grizzlies are my shocker team to start the season. I did not see the Grizzlies starting this well. But they've done a good job. But Zach Edey's been out for a while. But when he was in there, they looked amazing playing with watching John Edey do the pick and roll was kind of weird. But it was like, yo, this works in a crazy kind of way. But he went down with an elbow injury. But he'll be back. But yeah, man, the Grizzlies are good. OKC is just so young and so loaded that I don't know what's going to stop them, but they just might be a matchup thing because they got like 8 guys that they've got like 8 solid starters. Just 3 come off the bench. That's like how good their team is, you know? Like they have 3 guys that are on the bench that can start for other teams in the NBA. So they're a deep team. The Rockets, another young, scrappy. Ime Udoka got those guys.
That's it.
Scrappy
That's
over there,
the key
man.
right there. Ime Udoka. That
Ime
is
Udoka got those guys scrappy, man. Like they don't play. They have adopted his personality. They have adopted his identity and his energy. Sengun, Jalen Green, one of the Thompson brothers. They look good right now.
Yeah.
Dallas is doing pretty well without Luka. They went without Luka for a stretch, was I'm surprised. Golden State has kind of come back down to earth. They had this crazy streak where they were hot. But my surprise team is the Wolves, man. But I shouldn't be, because once they traded Karl Anthony Towns,
Right.
I knew something was gonna happen. And the Kings and the Suns. Kind of surprised that the Kings and the Suns are looking the way they do, because the Kings seem like such a well-balanced team, but the Kings are a bunch of B-list. Like if we're on a grading scale, I would say like each Kings player is like a B-level player. They don't have an A-level guy on their team. Like De'Aaron Fox is a B-plus level player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's cold. But I don't really fear De'Aaron Fox. DeMar DeRozan's too old. Sabonis is Sabonis. And it's kind of like who else is there? Malik Monk does his thing off the bench, but like it seems like they kind of had their moment the last few seasons,
Right.
with Sacramento. And Phoenix is just too top heavy, man. Like if one of their starters, KD, Beal, or Booker goes out, the team implodes. And Bradley Beal, who is our brother. Bradley is my brother. Like Bradley, St. Louis native. Brad has not been able to stay healthy for Phoenix for them to really get a chemistry going where you can see what this team could become.
Right.
He hasn't been able to stay on the floor, and it sucks because that team could be so deadly. But yeah, those teams have shocked me. Surprised by the Spurs. Love what I'm seeing out of them, man. Wemby, he need to get back to the basket, man. He too big to be out there dribbling the ball on the perimeter, man. I'm kind of tired of seeing Wemby do that. He need to get it back to the basket game. How you ain't doing hook shots? Like, what we doing here?
Right.
Lakers, LeBron's doing his thing, AD's doing his thing, but that's it. That's literally where it stops. These two players are carrying these guys. JJ's doing a good job. You know, I got to give it to JJ. His first year head coach. He's drawn up plays. They got a nice rookie in Dalton Connect. But they need another third star, man. We say that every year about the Lakers. As a residential Laker fan as well, they need somebody else. And you know what's kind of crazy? That guy is sitting over in Atlanta right now. If they had a Trae Young right now, I think LeBron could rest a lot, because what Trae Young is doing for the Hawks is kind of impressive, because the Hawks don't have anybody but Dyson Daniels, Trae Young, and Capella. Those guys are balling over there. And the East is honestly kind of more entertaining than the West this season, which is kind of crazy to say. The West has always been the more, in my opinion, entertaining conference. But with the emergence of Orlando and Cleveland, and shout out to the Magic, like what they've done over there, those young guys they are nice. And shout out to the Knicks. The Knicks always get hated on because they're the Knicks, but trading for Cat, that was good. That was smart. The Bucks have righted the ship, but I'm not a Bucks believer. I don't believe in Doc Rivers. I'm not a big Doc Rivers guy. And the Heat, they about to trade. They're actively talking about trading their superstar. So that 12-10 could easily be by next week. This conversation we're talking next week could easily be 12-15. You know, the Heat, Jimmy could shut it down. Thought the Hornets would be better. Thought the 76ers would be better, man.
Injuries, man.
Yeah. Yes. The process is kind of running its course, so I don't know what's gonna happen there.
And going back to the West real quick, I want to highlight the Pelicans, because injuries has killed that team as well. If those guys were healthy, the number could easily be switched around where they could be 20-5.
Easily. But you know what, though? Their superstar is not a dependable player
at all. So with that being said, because I brought this up actually maybe 2 years ago, is Zion Williamson on the same level as Greg Oden now?
Wow. You know what? he is entering Greg Oden territory. And I'll say it because of this. With Greg, at least, Greg was 7 foot, like 7'2", 3'6", 350, and he had his knees were shot. Like after Ohio State, I think everybody kind of knew that Greg Oden had bad knees, and if his knees did, they probably wouldn't hold up in the league, but if they did, he'd be a great player. So I give that to Greg. Zion Williamson had no excuse. Coming in the way he came in, the size he came in at, he never took the time to invest into his physical maintenance.
Right.
He was way and as it's come out to be, he's been way too caught up in the lifestyle. He's been way too caught up in the women, the hanging out, the partying, the doing all kind of crazy, just other stuff, getting into other stuff outside of basketball. He's let his weight since he's gotten to the NBA over the last 4 years just fluctuate. He's been as high as 320 to 280. It's like, man, you don't care about this game. And I think that was the knock. Well, not the knock, but a lot of people had that question coming in, right? Everybody said, can his body hold up with as big as he is and as explosive as he is? Can his frame hold up? And everybody was like, well, Charles Barkley. I'm like, no. You guys, Charles Barkley does not have the same makeup as Zion Williamson. Charles Barkley don't jump that high. Charles had a game. Charles could dribble. He could go back to the basket. He brought the ball up the court. Zion can't do nothing but dunk. And he never developed a shot. He never developed the back to the basket game where he backs you down and used his size to stay on the ground, like a Zebo type of game, like a Zach Randolph type, where you just kind of get on the block and you let your size do everything. You learn, you work on your mid-range pull-up, your mid-range fade, your back to the basket hook. He didn't do none of that. The Pelicans, and Brandon Ingram wants to leave. And it's kind of crazy because the Pelicans had this season, they had a chance to take the Lakers' 17th pick, and they let the Lakers keep the pick. And the Lakers drafted Dalton Knecht. The Pelicans could use a set shooter right now. You know, they have nobody. They have to bring back Elfrid Payton because they don't have anybody, and he ain't been in the league. He ain't been sticking for a few years. So yeah, the Pelicans need to trade Zion. To be honest with you, I'm getting off the Zion experiment. I'm off the Zion train if I'm management. If I'm management, let's get some pieces and let's start back over.
Yeah, because as you were saying before, Zion this is what his fourth season now.
Fourth season.
By this time, he should have like 2% body fat, straight lean and cut, and
personal chef, personal trainer. Like what?
You know what I'm saying? And it's just no excuse for how his career is right now. So that is sad. Let's talk about this NBA Cup, man. Second year in it. Your thoughts on the NBA Cup?
I think I think it's entertaining. You know, I think it's engaging. Lakers won it last year, and then they went to do nothing. So I'm like, I'm kind of like, don't burn out on the cup this year. Don't exhaust yourself trying to win the NBA Cup. But I will say for the younger players and the guys who don't make that much money, the $500,000 cash bonus is a lovely incentive for those guys. That's money that they can really use as rookies or players or 10 guys on 10-day contracts. Just guys who ain't really seeing no real money. For them to get $500,000 for winning that's big. That's big. So I do like the cash prize. And I think the courts are cool. Some courts are better than others. But I will say the intensity.
It is, yeah.
It's good. Every cup game is always a good game.
I agree.
I'll say that. That's been the biggest perk. Every cup game I watch is a good game.
And there is an update. The Hawks did beat the Knicks. So the Hawks are going to Vegas. And then right now it is 38-26 Houston over Golden State right now.
Okay. I'm telling you, the Hawks, man, they got a little swagger. They got their swagger back, and they're going to Vegas to see the Bucks. That would be good. The thing about Trae Young I like is that Trae Young gets up for big moments. That's why I like Trae Young. He's a big game player. It's cold. It's ice Trae in here. That's why I like him. He did it to the Lakers just the other day. He did it to the Lakers, so I watched it.
Yeah, I watched the game too. My biggest concern about the Lakers, you said it earlier, part of it is that it's been LeBron and AD. And I've been saying this even when LeBron first came onto the team, that if he has to be the focal point and score the most points on his team every day, that's going to be a problem for the Lakers, because that means that no one else, even AD during that time, wasn't doing enough. And the more that you're allowing this man who's about to turn 40 years old to keep on having those tires, you know what I'm saying, having those tires, keep on going, that's only going to make things worse for the Lakers. Very true. I don't know if you saw the report today or over the last couple of days, but like Golden State, you brought up Jimmy Butler, but LeBron James' name was brought up in regards to possible trade. Now, from what I'm understanding, LeBron wants to stay in LA, but my thing is, unless they make a huge move, like you said before, in regards to like a Trae Young type, it may be a time. Sorry, LA, but y'all probably don't even care for real. But it may get to a point where you might have to say, "Hey, LeBron, we love you, we thank you.
Yeah,
maybe it's time to get younger and move on from you."
I'm one of those people. I appreciate things that King James has done for the purple and gold. We thank him for his time, but he gave us his ring. He gave us what he said he was going to give us. He's going to restore us back to our rightful places as champions in the NBA, and he did that. So what I go do is I go to AD and I say, hey, we're going to trade the big fella, really make this your team. Who do you want us to go out and get to pair with you? Will you stay with us if we trade LeBron, or do you want to leave? Because honestly, AD may not want to be part of a rebuild.
Right.
He may say, I don't want to do that. I don't want the pressure of having to shoulder Laker Nation at 31, going on 32 into my twilight years. Because what if I don't win? What if this? What if that happens? Because not everybody's built like Kobe. You know, not everybody's built like, no, let me take it over. Let me show everybody I can do this. Let me be the one. Let me be the guy. And, you know, I don't know if AD's like that. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm checking in with AD like, hey, what do you feel? Because honestly, I might trade both of them and start over. Get some draft capital back. Some young, these ballers, some young kids coming up now. That's, you know, these guys can play. They like 6'9", 6'10". They can shoot. They can dribble. They can do everything now. So and you don't have a first round pick till 27, 29. So recoup some draft capital, get you some good players, get you some solid vets, if that's what you're trying to do. But since it's LA, it's always championships. Even when we sucked every year started, it's LA. We worse than Cowboy fans. Only difference between Laker fans and Cowboy fans. Only difference between Laker fans and Cowboy fans is that in 25 years, I've personally watched 6 championships myself.
Yeah,
win. That's the only difference. So my delusion is predicated. My delusion is warranted. I have a right to be a delusional Laker fan. Cowboy fans have no credibility, no right to be that delusional that you think every season since 1996 is the year you're going back to the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl. Nah, that don't work.
I love it. And my last question before we end this wonderful conversation, man. Your thoughts on the handling of Bronny James? It was just announced that he's going to finally join the G League team on the road and act like a professional and not be babied anymore. Your thoughts in regards to the handling of Bronny James?
I mean, he should have been with the Wolves. He should have been down in the G League on them bus rides and those away games. He needs as much basketball as he can get. Look, this kid is a year removed from going to USC. No, I'm sorry. He went to USC, had the heart condition, stopped playing, then got cleared for basketball activity. So in the last, let's say, he didn't start in high school. Let's remember that. Bronny James was not the best player at Sierra Canyon.
Right.
He was not one of the best players. He was a McDonald's All-American off kind of name ID. He didn't have the numbers for the McDonald's All-American game for real. So it's basketball, just playing the game of basketball. Over the last 3 years, Bronny hasn't really had a full year of high-level basketball. This is his first stint of high-level basketball. and he only plays home games, that makes no sense. I would have had him in the G League. I don't even know why. I get why he got a roster spot because he's LeBron James' son, and he would guarantee his development. But man, he should have been down there learning that G League life, because those guys, they are trying to kill you, and you need to be around people that are trying to kill you. Because in the NBA, there are killers, of course, but those guys are kind of lazy. You want to be with the scrappy guys. You want to be with the Jose Alvarados, the Quincy Oliveris, who is a Laker, who I pray gets a look because he's a 4-year guy at Xavier, and his game is great, but he's a dog. And the G League is where you need to be at, learning the fundamentals, learning what moves work for you, learning what you can possibly transition or bring to the big club when you get your 5 to 10 minutes, right, a night. When you get that they put you in, can you get a stop? Is defense going to be your thing? Or do you have a great drive package where you can get to the cup and you got a scoop layup shot that's just real good? Because you've been down in the G League just hitting this scoop layup all day, every game. When you in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when you in Sioux Falls, Iowa, and you playing against the G League affiliate in Iowa, because my homegirl, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their G League affiliate is in Iowa. So if you're in Iowa and you're playing in front of 100 people, like you need to experience that. You need to use that time to work on the things that you are going to try to bring to the NBA to help you translate, because you are LeBron James Jr. So nobody's expecting you to be LeBron James. But what we are expecting you is to bring a particular skill set to the court that you can make a name for yourself with. And I don't know if that's defense. He doesn't pass the ball. He's not a point guard, really. Let's be real. He's not a point guard. Like
that's the problem. And I said this after he got drafted, is that with his size, right, with his size, because he's only like 6'1". So you either have to be an elite shooter or great on defense. You know what I'm saying? Be that dog. Or what I was saying a while back is, look at what Chris Paul did with his career and his size. If I'm Bronny James, I am studying Chris Paul and knowing how to be a playmaker using your size. Because Chris Paul is like 6'1", or no, yeah, he's like 6'1", 6 foot. Yeah. Him and Bronny are like the similar height. Bronny has more muscle in him. But if I'm Bronny and you already at a disadvantage because of your size and skill set, I need to be studying what Chris Paul is doing to be a point guard, to know how to make plays and get your own shot up, even when you're one of the shortest guys on the court.
Yeah, because it's all about creating your shot. That's what it is. He has trouble creating his own shot. Chris Paul does not, because he knows he'll dance around you in the mid-range. Chris Paul has a very smooth game. Bronny is a perimeter player it's weird because they try to classify him as a 3-and-D player almost. And it's like, well, he's not 3-and-D material. He's not a lengthy 6'7" wing. He is a 2-guard that is 6'1", 200 pounds. So he's big for 2-guard, weight-wise. But his height, he's vastly undersized. So he has to guard your point guards. But he's not a point guard because he can't bring the ball up. So he's kind of a liability sometimes out on the floor. So that's why I say again, you need to become Tony Allen. You need to become some scrappy defender, or become the best shooter that we didn't know you were, or have this slasher package that you've been working on in the G League. But what you can't do is be a good player at a lot of things, because that's not the NBA. And you can only get by on being Bronny James Jr. for so long, because next season is going to come and your dad may not even be on this team.
Right.
And you need to show that you belong on this team, because if not, I'm just cutting you. Because the NBA, and this is just me, and we can see if this holds true. I think what's about to happen in the NBA, they're about to go back to the old model where we need 3 to 4 year guys out of college because of our CBA. Because these contracts, we don't want to pay these guys 2 or 3 contracts. So we need to get these guys older and on longer deals, so to maximize for our team's success. So if I'm picking between picks 10 through 32, I'm looking for some guy that's like at least a junior or sophomore who knows how to play basketball.
Right.
Like, I don't need you to be my star. I need you to come one day, potentially average between 8 to 12 points in a critical role for my franchise. That's what I'm drafting for now. Because if you ain't getting those first 5 guys, what are we doing here? Like, we know the first 5 guys, those are the guys. The guys 5 through 10, they could easily be guys that are 10 through 20. 10 through, you can rank them and order them how you want. This ain't 96, or 84, where you got like, the top 12 guys are crazy talented. It's not that. This ain't a deep draft.
Well, man, once again, man, your analysis on this show this evening has been super impressive. I definitely had to bring you on for more sports talk, man. This has been an incredible time with you, man. Do me a favor, if you don't mind. Just stay on. I'm gonna do a quick little outro, and then we'll do a real quick talk after the show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for real, sure.
All right, there we go. So there is producer, actor, St. Louis native Cameron Fuller. Make sure y'all check him out once again on the hit Tyler Perry TV show Zatima. And tell everyone one more time when it come back on.
Hey, we'll see you guys December 26th on BET Plus for season 3B, the second half of the hit TV show Zatima, produced by the one and only Tyler Perry.
There it is, man. So hold on tight real quick, Cam. All right, y'all. So that is our show. Thank you all for once again staying on. There's some technical issues. Took about a half an hour to get taken care of, but we made it and still had a very productive and impactful show. Shouts out to the Lutheran North High School Class 4 state champions and the head coach, Kyle Wagner, who was on the show, and to Damion Mitchell, the assistant coach. They shared their story and let everyone know that they got more in the chamber coming for next season. And, of course, to my surprise special guest, Cameron Fuller, for being on the show. And to all y'all who were loyal and stayed on throughout the technical difficulties, I appreciate it. I need everyone right now to scan the QR code. Even my boy Cam, use your phone, Cameron, and scan the QR code right now and save Smoooth Productions. Anything and everything about Smoooth Productions will be blessed on your phone, and we're good to go. Everyone else, y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Next week is the final show from the Platform Sports Talk Show Network of the year, which is the Super Show. So you'll have the collection of the Ladies Night panel, the Man Cave panel, all come together next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully Cam can check it out and be a part of the conversation. Just comment and everything like that if he wants to. But check it out. Next week it goes down. The Ladies Night crew and the Man Cave come together one more again for part 2 of the Super Show. Give the Platform Sports Talk Show a follow all across social media. The Platform Sports Talk Show on Facebook, on the X at 314 Sports Talk, at Platform Sports Talk on Instagram. You can also give us an email at platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. And of course, go on YouTube, everyone. Go on YouTube, subscribe, and click on that bell, the Platform Sports Talk Show, and you'll be good to go. So anytime we go live, you will be notified. We also are on Hot 365 Radio. You go to the website, hot365radio.com, or via the app, whether you're on iOS or on Android. Go to the Play Store, put in Hot 365 Radio. They also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hot365 Radio. It is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Thanks once again to our favorite fan, Miss Dub, and the many people who tuned in tonight to check out a fully loaded show. You all have a great week, and get ready for the Super Show next week. It's your boy Smooth, and I'm out this thing.